Billy the Kid, born Henry McCarty, circa 1859–1881, was a notorious American Old West outlaw and gunfighter who became a legendary figure in American folklore. He was involved in the violent Lincoln County War in New Mexico and was famously killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett at the age of 21. Early life and criminal beginnings. Born into an Irish immigrant family in New York City, Henry McCarty was orphaned at a young age after his mother died of tuberculosis in 1874. Left to fend for himself in Silver City, New Mexico, he quickly fell into a life of petty crime and thievery. His first arrest was for stealing food in 1875, followed shortly by an escape from jail by shimmying up a chimney. He fled to Arizona, where he adopted the alias William H. Bonney and earned the nickname, the Kid, or Kid Antrim, due to his youthful appearance. In August 1877, he committed his first murder, shooting a blacksmith named
Francis P. Windy Cahill
during an altercation, and became a wanted man in Arizona. At some point in 1877, McCarty began to refer to himself by the name, William H. Bonney. On August 17, 1877, Bonney was at a saloon in the village of Bonita when he got into an argument with Francis P. Windy Cahill, a blacksmith who reportedly had bullied him and on more than one occasion called him a pimp. Bonney in turn called Cahill a son of a bitch, whereupon Cahill threw him to the floor and the two struggled for Bonney's revolver. Bonney shot and mortally wounded Cahill. A witness said, Billy had no choice, he had to use his equalizer. Cahill died the following day. Bonney fled but returned a few days later and was apprehended by Miles Wood, the local justice of the peace. He was detained and held in the Camp Grant guardhouse but escaped before law enforcement could arrive. The Lincoln County War. Returning to New Mexico, Bonney became embroiled in the Lincoln County War, 1878, a violent business and political feud between two rival factions. He worked as a ranch hand for John Tunstall, a British-born businessman. After Tunstall was murdered by a sheriff's posse tied to the rival faction, the Kid and other former employees formed a vigilante group called the Regulators to avenge his death. The conflict escalated into a full-blown war, culminating in the 5-day Battle of Lincoln. During this period, the Kid participated in several killings, including the ambush and murder of Sheriff William Brady and one of his deputies.
The second person Billy the Kid shot was Joe, Texas Red, Grant, a cowboy who was famously killed by Billy the Kid in Fort Sumner, New Mexico, in January 1880. The incident occurred after Billy outsmarted Grant by secretly unloading his revolver when Grant asked to see it. When Grant later tried to shoot Billy in the back, his gun only clicked, and Billy turned to shoot and kill him. The confrontation. While drunk, Grant got into a dispute with Billy at a saloon. Grant had been bragging that he would be the one to kill Billy the Kid. The trick. Billy asked to see Grant's pistol. While looking at it, Billy discreetly rotated the cylinder to an empty chamber. Later, Grant shot at Billy's back, but only heard a click. Billy turned around and killed Grant.
Capture, escape, and death. Following the war, Governor Lew Wallace offered amnesty to most participants, but it did not apply to those already indicted, like Billy the Kid. He continued a life of cattle rustling and gambling until he was captured by Sheriff Pat Garrett in December 1880. On December 13, 1880, Governor Wallace posted a $500 bounty for Bonney's capture. Pat Garrett continued his search for Bonney. On December 23, following the siege in which Beaudry was killed, Garrett and his posse captured Bonney along with Pickett, Rudabaugh, and Wilson at Stinking Springs. The prisoners, including Bonney, were shackled and taken to Fort Sumner, then later to Las Vegas, New Mexico. When they arrived on December 26, they were met by crowds of curious onlookers. Convicted of Sheriff Brady's murder and sentenced to hang, the Kid made a daring escape from the Lincoln County Courthouse on April 28, 1881, killing 2 deputies in the process. His freedom was short-lived. On July 14, 1881, Sheriff Garrett tracked the Kid to the home of rancher Pete Maxwell in Fort Sumner, New Mexico. Accounts vary as to the course of events. According to the canonical version, as he entered the room, Bonney failed to recognize Garrett due to the poor lighting. Drawing his revolver and backing away, Bonnie asked, "Quién es?" "Quién es," Spanish, for, "Who is it? Who is it?" Recognizing Bonnie's voice, Garrett drew his revolver and fired twice. The first bullet struck Bonnie in the chest just above his heart, while the second missed. Garrett's account leaves it unclear whether Bonnie was killed instantly or took some time to die. A few hours after the shooting, a local justice of the peace assembled a coroner's jury of 6 people. The jury members interviewed Maxwell and Garrett, and Bonnie's body and the location of the shooting were examined. The jury certified the body as Bonnie's and, according to a local newspaper, the jury foreman said, "It was the kid's body that we examined." Bonnie was given a wake by candlelight. He was buried the next day and his grave was denoted with a wooden marker. 5 days after Bonnie's killing, Garrett traveled to Santa Fe, New Mexico, to collect the $500 reward offered by Governor Lew Wallace for his capture, dead or alive. William G. Rich, the acting New Mexico governor, refused to pay the reward. Over the next few weeks, the residents of Las Vegas, Mesilla, Santa Fe, White Oaks, and other New Mexico cities raised over $7,000 in reward money for Garrett. A year and 4 days after Bonnie's death, the New Mexico Territorial Legislature passed a special act to grant Garrett the $500 bounty reward promised by Governor Wallace. Because people had begun to claim Garrett unfairly ambushed Bonnie, Garrett felt the need to tell his side of the story and called upon his friend, journalist Marshall Upson, to ghostwrite a book for him. The book, The Authentic Life of Billy, the Kid, was first published in April 1882. Although only a few copies sold following its release, in time, it became a reference for later historians who wrote about Bonnie's life. Legacy. Though legend credits him with 21 killings, historians estimate the actual number was closer to 8 or 9. Billy the Kid's short, violent life quickly became a subject of dime novels, songs, and over 50 films, cementing his paradoxical image as both a ruthless killer and a charismatic folk hero of the American West. What goes around comes around. Wayne Brazel shot and killed Pat Garrett on February 29, 1908, during a dispute over a ranch lease. Brazel claimed self-defense, and a witness supported his story. While Brazel was the shooter, some theories suggest a conspiracy involving other men, possibly hiring professional killer Jim Miller.